be having Teacher Conference Day, November 4th and 5th, Thursday, Friday. So we're planning on those days. The information will be out on the page soon for registration, but we wanted to give you a heads up, a little bit of detail on how Josh's mind is working on this whole concept and how he chose the idea of how to be a movie critic in 2 days.
Nice. A little nervous because of technical difficulties. So I think everything's fine, but if you guys can drop in the comment section that you can actually hear us, I'd appreciate it. But I think we're good. And let's dive right in.
Josh,
take it away, Josh.
How did you come up with, and what are the tools you're going to use to help our kids learn about how to be a movie critic and how this whole idea came to you, which is a great, really fun idea?
So the idea came in two parts. We wanted, just again, as we were talking, we wanted to do a workshop that was, one, going to be fun and engaging and not really focused on hard work that you're actually doing in the classroom now that we're, back in school. And the second, we wanted to incorporate skills that would be needed in the classroom in order to, further our goal of the workshop. So we came up with how to be a movie critic, because everyone, and we spoke about this on our last podcast, but everyone loves movies. We all have our favorite movies. We all have our, our favorite, movie characters. And we're going to talk about some of that in addition to using these skills to review our own movie. So we're going to be using 2 short films that are fun, that are interactive, that have a lot of not only good content in them, but great scenes to be able to use our cause and effect and our inference. So cause and effect and inference are the real sort of foundation of the workshop. So that's why we're calling day 1 skill day, where we really hone in and work on the skills. And then day 2 being the movie critic day, where we use the skills in our movie and then go on to write our movie review at the end.
And what I really love that Josh came up with is how to use these. Tell me what the name of those things are again that you...
Anchor charts.
Anchor charts. Anchor charts. How to use and create anchor charts to help the kids learn. It is a great visual tool. And we've printed out some of them.
Is that my cue?
Pardon?
Is that my cue?
Yes. Here's one of them that we're going to use for cause and effect. And Josh, we'll talk about it in more detail.
Mm-hmm.
It's a really cool thing. You can be really creative. This is one we found online.
So cause and effect. So what the cause is the cause is what made something happen or why something happens. The effect is the result of the outcome. The result of what happened. What happens after this said incident occurs. So the cause, Thomas did not feel well this morning. The effect, he did not go to school today.
Great.
And when we're using cause and effect, there are important clue words that tell us what cause and effect we're using, what outcome is happening, and that it's a cause and effect situation. Words like therefore, so, if,
Great.
After. So, we're going to talk about these words in more detail in order to figure out the different cause and effect situations that are coming up.
Great.
I do have a few more examples of cause and effect that I would like to share, and that should be coming up on our screen momentarily.
That's the other one?
Yeah.
Next one.
You got it.
Again, the cause is why something happened. The effect is the result of what happened. So if the effect was we see a rainbow, the cause is because the sun comes out after the rain. So we don't always need to start with the cause. We could start with the effect and go backtrack and figure out our answer. So a lot of what we're going to be doing on the skill day is not only are we going to be doing some reading because, yes, school, we have to, read something and address those skills and standards as well. We're going to be doing a lot of other exercises, sort of real life examples of cause and effect. And I will give a little spoiler or hint. A lot of those worksheets that we're going to be working on with cause and effect have something to do with the holidays.
Okay.
So another topic that most people know a lot about. One more example, the boy hit the ball. As a result, there's our, one of our clue words. As a result, the window broke. So there's a lot of ways where you can spin cause and effect. And I think, we'll touch more on this in a little while, but cause and effect is a very important element of creating a movie review.
And cause and effect is something that the kids are going to need to know as they go through into middle school and high school, especially as things become more complex. But I want to talk a little bit about if you give a mouse a cookie. I think it's a book that is great for kids. The whole Laura Joffe-Numeroff series. But Josh picked this book specifically, and we're going to talk a little bit about that, which I think is a great book to choose.
So Laura Joffe-Numeroff has not only are they great with cause and effect, they are great with making inferences as well. While we're going to use the book more for cause and effect, and I have other exercises to help us with inference, which we'll go into at a later date. Laura Joffe-Numeroff books are great for cause and effect for two reasons. Most of the time, the cause is on one page, and the effect is on the other page. She separates them, and there's a whole series. So while this book is the book that we're going to be using for our group anchor chart that we're going to create together, that I'm going to give a preview now of how that process works. Do we have any questions by any chance?
Any questions out there so far?
Let's see here. Not yet.
Okay.
So I'm going to preview sort of what this looks like, and again, making anchor charts in this reader's workshop model that we're trying to get at in this workshop, which is what a lot of schools adapt. The foundation of Readers and Writers Workshop is making the anchor charts together as a class, not just putting them up and reviewing them. It's the interactive part of the workshop that goes in with the mini lesson, then the independent work that comes after it. So if you give a mouse a cookie, the effect would be he's going to ask for a glass of milk. So we would write on our anchor chart, he's going to ask for a glass of milk. And then after that, you could keep going, right? So the next one is when you give him the milk, so that would go on our cause side, turn the page.
Let's see.
He will probably ask for a straw. So then again, it goes when he's finished. So when he's finished would be the next cause. He'll ask for a napkin. So we're not going to go through and anchor chart every single one of these because the paper's not big enough. And two, we're going to do a few together. But the whole purpose is that the students are going to read their own book that they choose. It's going to be like a random selection out of my bag of books, and they'll have the same anchor chart layout, and they will have to find a few causes and a few effects of their own.
Awesome. Anybody have any questions so far? This is something that's all leading up to how to be a movie critic. So to be a movie critic, you have to really break down and analyze the story with cause and effect as well as inference. But right now we're really diving into cause and effect. And this is what we're going to teach your kids on the workshop. And It's a very cool thing. And it's a creative way to learn. Visual learners will love this because that's what anchor charts are. They're visual learning aids.
Cool.
Okay.
Very cool. I like it.
Does anybody have questions?
So, like I said, we want to make this as interactive
Yeah.
as possible.
Here's Josh. Ask away.
Ask
because
away.
We are gearing this toward your kids. We all know that the kids are on Zoom, off Zoom, online, offline, and we really need to engage, right? We really need to help our kids engage and connect. And everybody loves a movie. So we talked last time about what is your favorite movie. And I think that that's a good way to start the workshop, which is what we're going to talk about. Get an idea of what all your kids' favorite movies are and take it from there. And then learn about cause and effect. We can even tailor it toward their movie and talk about, well, what do you think the cause and effect are? You know,
Right, so let's, we can do an example of that now. Jessica, why don't you give me a cause, that sort of we haven't, prepared for, and, we can, and I can model how, on the fly, we're going to come up with these effects that are not like given to us in the book.
Joey wasn't feeling well that morning and he didn't want to get up and go to school.
So the cause being Joey wasn't feeling well, effect, he didn't want to go to school.
And therefore,
the teacher sent him work to go home. Right? So not only in Jessica's example was there its own cause and effect, there was that entire example was a clear cause that could have its own additional effect.
secondary effect.
Right. So what we, and what we're going to talk about is, sometimes we don't realize, students look at the costs and they're like, what? But the effect is already here. So we're going to talk about that element of secondary effect because, there may be one cause, but multiple effects, which some of our movies will have. So that's another element as, to understand why cause and effect is very important in movies.
You have one, Doug?
Well, I was going to say Joey probably needs new pants now too for an effect since he wasn't feeling good with his stomach. He might.
Oh.
We have our comic relief.
Joey needs new pants now. But yeah.
But the other important thing to note is that our movies are silent.
Oh,
So
yes.
we are really going to talk about not only on the skill day, but on the movie day before we start our movies, we are going to address the importance of visual clues when it comes to cause and effect, inference, and other reading strategies, because there's not always words, to help us.
Right. I think that's an important thing. And kids aren't used to watching silent films, so silent films, since there are no words and it's all visual, they can be interpreted in many different ways. So I think that's also a really interesting element of interpretation, because I can watch something and get a completely different inference, really, right, than somebody else.
Yeah, very true.
Good stuff. Everyone out there in Tutor Doctor TV land, you can drop your causes into the comment section and we will give them the effects. Is that how it works? Or we break it down for them?
We can break it
We
down.
can break
Break
it
it
down
down.
for them. We can answer questions, a whole any question. How, again, something that I've answered that maybe you wanted more clarification on, something that you think would work, better for your student, that you may a suggestion to help us incorporate, different things. We're still a few weeks away. We're still, sort of in the, somewhat planning stages.
I think that what's important here, Josh, is the fact that you have thought about how to make it engaging, how to make something that's, the other thing we didn't talk about is we're working on making this face-to-face in person, not online. So I think, of course, with social distancing and in a room where everybody can wear a mask and that sort of thing, and we can have actual face-to-face engagement. So we're working toward that. That is our goal. So how have you thought about making this engaging with the kids in the room?
So, and I think we, talked about many ways, a lot of times now being virtual, you're seeing these creations maybe only once or twice in the classroom. So getting that extra experience of being part of the actual discussion, being part of the engaging. And I think it's a great way because it's going to be, it's going to be a whole group of kids from different towns. So you're not only are you meeting new students, but you're hearing things, you're learning things in a different way that maybe you didn't think of before. I think it's really, important to have this in person because, this sort of workshop, really, with read alouds and individual reading catered to this reader's workshop model, is really something that, is only effective, in my opinion, when it's done in an in-person setting.
Yeah.
Yes, we're doing it virtually now, but, without, going into, all those specifics, it's something that takes more power, that takes more influence and remembrance from the students. When it's done in person, they can see it.
And they can interact with their peers.
Yeah.
Which I think is really important, right? I mean, that's why a lot of families, we want our kids to go back to school in as disinfected and safe an environment as possible. And that's what we're going to create. So we know how badly you want your kids to go back and have little small group, and that's what we're planning. So I think we're excited to make this happen, and just keep your eyes peeled because we're going to put the information, once we finalize everything, out on our pages.
The other thing that, Jessica and I are talking about and trying to figure out how we're going to incorporate this. Again, like we said, we're still planning, but we really want there to be, this socially distant, turn and talk and interaction where the students are talking with each other. And it's not just us, who are up there and presenting, and then they're off working by themselves. We want them to have that interaction with their peers. And I think, and we're going to do everything that we can to make that happen, but also still maintain this safe environment for everyone to feel comfortable in.
Yeah.
That brings us to our next question.
Yay.
Noah asks, how are you making this workshop interactive?
So this workshop will be interactive. Or first of all, thank you, Noah. This workshop will be very interactive. Not only are we going to be creating charts like this together, which we've already done, we're going to be doing some maybe role-playing movie acting on the movie days where we as a group add words to the movies, and as a little skit where we're going to create our own cause and effects, putting sound into the movies, or creating a situation where someone can infer what's going to happen. So, for example, in one of the movies, the young girl goes into a shop, a store, and we may say what she's thinking before she goes in, and then we can infer what will actually happen before she goes in. So we're going to use some of those techniques in an interactive way, not only with the books, but with the movies as well.
And knowing this short film, there's different ways that this could be inferred or interpreted. So that's also another conversation that I think is really important especially for this age kid, to understand that things can be interpreted and inferred in different ways.
So the comments are rolling in now.
Yes.
So I just want to let you guys know too, if you're watching we have this live going out in many different areas and many different platforms. We have it on YouTube, we have it on Facebook, there's Facebook groups. If you're watching in the Facebook group and you make a comment, which some of you have, when I bring your comment in, it won't say who's it from. So if you want to make a comment and have your name pop up with your picture, and it's a nice little thing, please comment on our YouTube or on the Tutor Doctor of North Jersey's Facebook page, not the group, the page, and we'll have it all. But I'm going to bring some of these up. They all say Facebook user. That means it's coming from the group, but just so you guys know,
Good. Nice to see you in the group.
someone is going back to school. There's that comment. I'm going back to school. It's a Facebook user, and I think by doing my thing
back in person.
I think it's your favorite from
My favorite,
your favorite.
Svetlana?
Yes, I think that is.
That
Not
means you're
sure
going
though.
To school in Fair Lawn.
And then we have this comment here that will help my kids later for reading body language. What a great opportunity for them later in the business world, thinking about interviews that are coming up for us. I'm thinking that's when we were talking about the silent film stuff, because they also commented, love the silent film piece.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then we have here, we have someone said, love you, Jessica.
Love you too.
Whoever you are.
Whoever you are.
Then that brought us to Noah's question. So thank you, Noah, for asking a question. And like we said, we want you guys to ask questions so we can answer them. In this day and age, with so much screen time, any interaction with emotions and communication is positive. That was true before, but now even more important.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
And that is one of the reasons we're really working hard to bring this. I saw somebody asked how many in the group.
Yep. How many kids per workshop?
Well, we don't want to make it probably more than 6 to 8 at max. Preferably 6.
Yeah.
Cool. And like I said,
Probably 6. If there's we can accommodate.
We can always add another workshop as well. We're working toward these on Teacher Conference Day, which I'm hearing is happening still.
Yes.
Thursday, Friday, November 4th and 5th, 5th and 6th.
4th and 5th. Because Election Day is the 2nd. Go ahead and vote.
Right after Election Day. So this will be a good thing for our kids. Really fun.
and yes, we were right. It was your favorite
Of
student.
course it's Svetlana. Hi, honey. I'm
So
glad
yes.
you're going back to school.
And Savania, please, if you're going to comment, please comment on the page. This way we can, bring up your beautiful picture and name.
And the silent films are really interesting. I don't know if it's something that the kids see very often, but in our last workshop, Josh used one of the silent films for the older group. And it was very interesting, I think, how the kids responded to it.
Like Jessica said, there's multiple ways. I had my way of interpreting it. Jessica had her
completely
way of
different.
interpreting it.
Yeah.
And the 2 or 3 students in our workshop had their way of interpreting it. So
And
it's one of those films that's going to generate, even if is separated, it's going to generate a discussion. And that discussion will help us write our movie reviews because you can incorporate ideas from everybody into your review.
Which is important.
Which is really important. I want to go back and touch on the comment about, how virtual, how in-person learning is now more important than ever. While we are going to be, showing a movie and there is going to be some screen time and looking at a screen, most of the workshop is going to be interactive. It's going to be talking. It's going to be discussing. It's going to be reading. It's going to be writing on physical papers and not trying to, figure out how to move pieces and draw on Seesaw or Google Classroom or whatever, or Google Doc. It's going to be all that physical sensation, which is really important as to why not only do we ask that you, of course, practice, safe, but you bring your own supplies.
Right.
We will not be supplying any pens, pencils, or anything like that. We will have our supply for us, and Jessica will have her supply for her. But we really ask that you bring your own supplies, and we will specify that list, in the coming weeks as we publish more information.
Cool. I think we've talked a lot about the next podcast we're going to do is talking about the next section of the class, which will be about inference. So we're really going to dive deep more into inference. So stay tuned for that.
How spontaneous are you guys feeling right now?
We're spontaneous.
Okay, so you're ready for this. This is an idea. We'll iron out the
We're
details. But
Are you guys out there ready for Doug's really amazing idea?
Here's the idea. Since we're in movie critic mode, right?
Okay.
After you guys wrap up your movie critic workshop, when we close that chapter, and we're finished with the movie critic chapter of workshops, what if you guys did a screenwriting or a script writing workshop? And here's where it gets fun.
Okay.
Is after they all submit and work on whatever, we pick a winner. and then the Undefeated Media team will create that script and bring it to life to make a movie from that script.
Interesting idea.
Just saying.
You can write your own
You write the script.
write your own script for your own movie, or because we are showing silent movies, if you wanted to write your script and the words and, for the silent movie, we can, put the words in, and see, so we can maybe have two different, people who want to do that, people who want to do, and you don't have to be, ideally, we would love you to come to the workshop and then participate afterwards, but I think we could arrange a way
or the kids in the workshop could also write their own script and submit it.
Yeah, you can have it both ways.
Yes,
yeah.
but a clear contest. If you will. I like competitions. A clear contest. We'll pick a winner.
Yeah,
and then we will make
and the winner could come on.
Sure. Yeah, winner can come on the podcast
and read their script.
Absolutely, read the script. But not only you guys are. I don't think you're missing the point. We're gonna make their script come to life as a movie. We're gonna make a video.
Doug's gonna.
Now you figured it out. That's at the beginning.
Yes,
we're gonna submit. You're gonna submit your script.
So maybe we weren't ready for it.
Yeah, you're not ready. All right, slow down. Rewind. You guys are gonna have a screenwrite.
Undefeated Media comes up with a concept.
You guys are gonna submit after you teach them. This is the next workshop. Right now we're doing Movie Critic. The next workshop is how to write a screenplay or how to write a script yourself. Then they're gonna submit their scripts. We'll have a panel that picks a winner of all the scripts that are submitted. And then we, the Undefeated Media team, will make a movie out of that script or a video out of that script, bringing it to life, if you will.
What do you guys think of that?
And then we'll submit it to Sundance. Yes. So I don't know who said this, but someone said, yes, Doug, I wish I knew who you were because I appreciate you. But yes.
And I just want to put, if you want information, details, it's 2 hours, 1 hour, one day, 1 hour, the next 2 hours, it's 4 hours, 4 hours, 2 hours on Thursday, 2 hours on Friday, and private message me and I will give you all the details regarding cost, breakdown, registration, all that stuff.
So that covers that question. And if you want to get a hold of Jessica, where are you, Jessica?
My email address is the best way.
Yep. Where'd you go?
The AM.
Great idea, Doug. We're going to have a contest.
Thank you.
The AM is third and fourth grade. The afternoon is 5th and 6th grade. And again, we ask you to arrive a little bit early so we can, just be able to start on time and, be able to do our screening that, we need to get done. So more information on the times, reach out to Jessica and she'll be happy to give you any information you need.
There's another question about the books.
I was just about to say that.
Yeah.
There you go.
You want to go over, because whoever came in a little bit later, about Give the Mouse a
What
Cookie.
types of books are you going to be focusing on? And I love that book you have next to you, Josh. It's a classic.
Well, that's what we're going to be
Well,
using.
we are going to be using Laura Joffe-Numeroff's books. This one is going to be our anchor chart book, our lesson that we go over. And the other books that we will be using are books that are also written by her that have similar names. If you take a mouse to school, if you give a dog a donut, if you give a moose a muffin, a few with the pig, there's a few about a pig. She's got a new one about it with a cat. So these are the books that we're going to be using, but it's going to be completely random which book each student will get. And they'll only work with that one book. So they won't get to read all of the books. But if you wanted to, after the workshop, you really, fall in love with this book series and you want to get them, they are at, you can go buckles.org, all the, libraries in Bergen County, they all have these books, that, can be exchanged from library to library.
So if you tuned in late, what we were talking about earlier was how these books are great for cause and effect. Literally, one page is the cause, one page is the effect. So Josh was talking earlier about how great it is to use those books as an example.
We could do another example for those people who came in late. Let's do one more example. So I'm turning to the page and I go, let's see. So we could say, and what I wrote here on he will wash the floors is not exactly what the book says. It's an abbreviated version, so it's quicker to go up on the screen. So if the cause is he may wash the floors, the effect is he will want to take a nap.
Because he's going to be tired by washing the floors?
Exactly.
Okay. Can't wash the floors and then you have to take a nap. Of course.
Yeah, absolutely.
This is a mouse we're talking about?
This is a mouse.
Probably
Okay.
going to want some cheese too.
Yeah, he may want a little
And
snack.
depending on the turnout that we get, if we get a good turnout of the workshop, I have a live action video of if you give a mouse a cookie that maybe I'll share for the class.
Okay.
Nice.
Cool.
So he's a mouse.
Who's the mouse?
The one who wants to take a nap, he's a mouse.
He's a mouse.
He's probably not going to want to take a cat nap.
Ah! You're funny, Doug.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. I'll be here.
All right,
week.
we have good stuff going on here. Any
We do.
other feedback here?
Noah says, I really like that idea.
Which idea, Noah?
I don't know. There's a lot of them we've been shooting out there,
I think
but
the one that you said, Doug.
oh, thank you. Well, this person said yes, Doug, too. I don't know who you are, but thank you. But yeah,
Glad you're watching, Noah.
glad you guys are watching. And I mean, we're coming towards the end of this episode. So if you're going to have a question, now's your time to put the question in the comment section. And we here at Tutor Doctor TV will answer it live in real time for you at home.
Last chance for any cause and effect questions, because the next workshop, like Jessica said, is going to be all about inference. We're going to do something very similar to this. We're going to
And by the way,
show
guys-
different inference anchor charts as well. So
By the way, even up when your kids are in high school, they need to know about inference. And it's confusing.
Yeah, I'm probably going to get confused. So I can't wait for that episode.
It's confusing,
I will
and it's
make
on
sure
your
you're not
SAT and
confused.
ACT.
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate it.
So
Because
we're
I will
learning
be.
about it in 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th grade, but they're going to need to know about it in high school too.
Absolutely.
yeah,
Cool, guys. Questions, comments, concerns?
Not with us. We're good. Thanks
Cool.
for listening and tuning in, guys. But I love Doug's idea,
Well, thank
and
you.
we got to talk about that further, I think.
Absolutely. So get ready to get your script writing hats on.
we will see you in 2 weeks.
See you again.
All right, let's
Sign
see if
up,
this-
email me if you want information and details, or PM me.
Okay, we're going to try again to do our sign out music outro. Hopefully our technical difficulties won't suffice.
Bye, everyone. Thanks for tuning in.